Biblically Centered Kids.
Well, welcome to the Biblically Centered Kids podcast. Today is a great Sunday, and my name is Mr. Johnny, and I am excited to share some fun things with you today and then guide you on a draw-along. Today is March 24th, 2024. Okay, guys. I'm actually very, very excited about the holiday that we're going to be talking about in this episode. It's a holiday celebrating a candy. One of the most delicious candies you can get on the planet. Any guesses? No, it's not a Snickers. No, not Butterfinger. Nope, not Reese's Peanut Butter Cup. It's even better. Are you ready? It's National Chocolate Covered Raisins Day. I know I might be a little odd on this one, but chocolate-covered raisins are some of my favorite candy. Have you ever had a chocolate-covered raisin? Raisinets were invented in 1926, and now they come in both milk chocolate and dark chocolate varieties. Personally, I like the dark chocolate ones the best, but next time you have a movie night, there is no better candy to go along with popcorn than Raisinets. It's just the truth. So happy chocolate-covered raisin day. All right, and today is Draw Along Sunday. And if you remember in our Old Testament Tuesday story this week, we talked about Moses in the desert. And while we didn't discuss the moment he parts the Red Sea, I figured this might be a good time to draw that picture, because that's what leads us into the story we discussed this week, where Moses and the Israelites had to continually show patience and trust in God. So like I said, we're going to draw Moses parting the Red Sea, and we're going to be in the perspective as if we're standing in the parted Red Sea looking back at Moses. So it's going to be a little bit of a simple drawing, but certainly will have some complexities, since part of the drawing will rely a little bit on perspective. And if you haven't gotten yourself some crayons, markers, pens, and pencils yet, make sure you get those things, as well as a couple pieces of paper, and then we can jump right into this draw along. I'll play some music right now to give you a few extra seconds to gather your supplies. And if you need to pause it, just go ahead and do that now. Okay, do we have all of our supplies? Perfect. And like I've said before, I recommend drawing your first draft in pencil so you can erase and change things as you see fit. And as a reminder, this should be an enjoyable experience. It's not about making a perfect picture, but continually learning and developing our skills. So don't be hard on yourself if it doesn't turn out how you'd like. This is all a learning experience, but I'm going to do my best to explain. Okay, are you guys ready? All right, so our paper is going to be turned vertically. That means up and down. So the long sides on the sides and the short sides on the top and bottom. And I'm going to start by drawing Moses holding up his staff. And he'll be not quite in the middle of the page, but a little bit up than the middle of the page is where I'm going to draw him, okay? And then his feet will come down to a little bit below the middle of the page. So that's about how much space he'll take up. So I'm going to start by drawing his head. And of course, he's going to have a long beard, so make sure you include that. So I'm just going to draw his head. His nose. And then I'm going to give him a long beard. Maybe look like it kind of blowing in the wind, since there's something very exciting happening. Give him his mouth in the beard. I'm going to draw his eyes, his eyebrows, and then some hair on his head. Now he's parting the Red Sea, so I'm going to have both of his arms being held up. Okay, and in one of his hands, he's going to have his staff. So I'm going to draw both of his arms coming up. And then on his right hand, I'm going to draw the staff. So staff is just a big long stick. you go. So he has that in his hand. The other hand's just going to be open. And then I'm going to draw him in a robe. Just come down and maybe kind of be cinched around his tummy. And then you can draw kind of the longer portion that covers his legs. You can also kind of draw it blowing in the wind if you want. Give it some lines here and there just to give his clothes a little bit of texture. Then I'm going to draw him his feet coming out like he's wearing sandals. You can just kind of draw his ankle coming out and then his feet on both sides. So on his sandals, I'm just going to draw a little thin line underneath his feet. And then 2 straps on his feet that come down to the sandal. Just like that. Okay, so I have Moses in the middle of my page holding his staff. Okay. So now I'm going to start drawing the water that he is parting. Okay, and so this is a sea. So if you can imagine, right beneath his feet, we're going to draw kind of like a arch on both sides of his body that meet underneath his feet, but you're going to leave a space between them because that's where the dry land is. Okay, so we're going to draw the waves first. So on the left side, we're going to draw an arch that starts underneath his left foot and comes up right a little bit over where his hand is. And then the same thing on the other side. Up over where his hand is. And now at the base of your arch, this is where we're going to draw some perspective because we're going to draw the base of the water kind of coming towards the page. Okay, so where your arch started at the base of your page or underneath his feet, you can just kind of draw some squiggly lines coming all the way to the front of the page on both of those. That's where, and you can kind of draw some more lines all the way that kind of swirl up. And then you can draw some of the white foam that waves create at the top, some squiggly lines to create the white foam. So he has kind of an arch around him of him splitting the sea and then the dry land in front of him. You can kind of draw some lines in the dry land. And now we're going to do a little bit of a background behind Moses. So right now you should have Moses standing there holding his staff with some waves kind of arched around him as if he's splitting a sea. All right, we're going to draw a line behind him. We're going to maybe draw some mountains in the background. So about at his waist, I'm going to draw a little line behind him. And then just some mountains to illustrate a little bit of perspective. Draw some lines on those mountains. And then what do you think? Maybe some birds in the sky? A quick way to draw birds is you can just do a V shape, and that kind of gives you like a V, but like where it's curved at the top. It makes it look like birds flapping their wings. You can kind of just draw a few of those all throughout the background, maybe some clouds. So what do you think this drawing is missing? I have Moses standing in the middle of my page with his arms up, splitting the sea. Got the waves kind of coming around him. You can see the dry land beneath him. We got mountains, birds, clouds in the background. If you want to draw maybe some fish in the water that are like, what is happening? Draw some fish in the water. But how does yours look? Do you like the way it looks? Is there anything you would want to change? Anything you want to do differently? And once you're done, go ahead and break out your pens and markers and crayons and go to town coloring it in, making it vibrant and colorful. And I love this picture because it reminds me all the time that God is our deliverer. God always gives us a way out. God cares for us and God loves us. I hope you enjoyed this draw along. I had a lot of fun doing it with you guys. If you find yourself ever getting frustrated while drawing this, it's okay. I honestly, as an adult, still sometimes find moments of frustration when I'm trying to draw something that just can't seem to quite translate on paper the way I want it to. But that's okay. It's all a learning experience. And even looking at my drawing, I'm thinking, okay, maybe next time I do this one, I'll do this part a little bit different. and that's okay. But I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Tomorrow we got a brand new week starting with a brand new virtue and a whole batch of stories and activities that we're going to enjoy doing with you guys. So I hope you have a great rest of your Sunday, and we will see you tomorrow. Until next time.